Jay, what's up, baby? How we doing today? Thank you so much for waking up with us, man.
I'm living a dream now. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Look.
Besides talking about what kind of crap you could put in your belly button.
10 times?
Yeah, 10 times. Jay, I got a question for you to start this whole thing. It's a very important question. Do you do the whole fake, Black Monday is really the toughest day for me as a reporter, and I feel really bad for those guys? Or you just
that's the NFL, dude.
There you go.
Thank you, Jay.
I knew you did that. Yeah. Listen, these guys get hired, they know they're gonna get fired someday.
Yeah. It's part of the league, man. You know how it is. You know, it's funny because my wife, we've been married for a year and a half, so she's feeling it. So, she knows Raheem Morris really well. The other day he gets fired, and she feels so bad. He actually FaceTimes, and he's like, "So, got fired today?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God!" I said, "See, babe, we're okay. They know how it works. It's all right."
They're gonna fall. They're gonna be back. All these guys find jobs pretty quickly. All right. So, Jay, in terms of the firings that have happened, are we done? Or do we feel like there are a couple left, and what would be out there?
No, there's always a couple depending on playoffs, and also there's usually like a surprise here and there. You never know. But I wouldn't say we're done, especially playoffs. Owners get real emotional, right, when that happens. So I wouldn't be surprised if something happened there. And then also there's like dominoes still. What if a guy like John Harbaugh doesn't come back with the Ravens? They decide, hey, it's time to go. He becomes attractive, and somebody says, oh, okay, well, you know what? We could have him over our coach. There's a couple. Look, I think the craziest one that's even I had on my list the other day was Matt LaFleur, but they've been, very open about it. Like he and Goody, the GM, are either going to get an extension or they're not going to come back, but they're not going to go into next year as a lame duck coach. And that one to me is, ridiculous that he's even on there. But he's had to talk about his job status a lot this year. There's a couple more dominoes, I think.
Yeah.
Jay, do you want to take this?
But I'll say this too, gang. And I said the other day, I had the big board on Fox. It was 15 names, and I never remember so many question marks. Usually it's about 8, and not this much. I mean, even look, there's people talking about in Buffalo if they're one and done. I just don't remember a year like this where there's so many question marks, and not a ton of assistance where there's not like a Ben Johnson where okay, we want to make a move, right?
Right.
Jay, is one of those openings potentially Tampa? I know that reports have come out saying that Todd Bowles, who signed an extension before the season that kicks in now essentially, is safe. Is that gospel? Is he totally safe?
I don't know if he's totally safe. The Glazers are kind of different. Not this Glazers, those Glazers. Well, no, this one's definitely different. But it's like, a bunch of brothers, they all kind of get together and they make a decision, and it's like on their timeline. And I say this, they decided about Bruce Arians at the owners meeting on like March 25th, a couple years ago, right? They decide one day, hey, we're going to get rid of John Gruden, elevate Raheem Morris. Who's the youngest head coach of all time at that point. They just do things differently on their timeline. He might be safe, but they also may say, maybe it's time to make a change. The fact that these players keep coming out, there's a player came out today also. It said, well, our practices aren't physical enough. We got to practice more. And another player the other day said, hey, there's no rhyme to reason of what we do. That certainly isn't great, but I do know the Blazers love him. They do. They love Todd Bowles. But they just make business decisions different than everybody else. Yeah.
You did just mention him. Is John Gruden potentially named to watch for in this NFL head coach?
I heard that at one point this week, and I'm like, it wouldn't be. Look, nothing surprised me with the Glazers.
Jay, what about, so we went through all the open jobs earlier. What's kind of the NFL viewpoints in coaching circles, candidate circles, about maybe what the best job would be?
Well, it depends, because it's funny. I talked to look, Tennessee is actually a good job, believe it or not.
Wow.
Because you got a quarterback there. Okay. Nashville's a phenomenal place to go move to. No state tax, right down in Tennessee. The GM, Mike Borgonzi, people love him in the NFL. The owner, Emmy Strunk, doesn't want to medal anymore, or doesn't want to be, or she even did. She doesn't really want to be one of those owners. And I say medal, the Browns owner medals. He helps make draft picks. My Panthers owner medals. Woody Johnson medals.
Yep.
Right. And by the way, that's the hardest thing. These owners who come in, I always talk about culture. And it's not hard to realize what the issue is. When Dan Snyder lost year after year, obviously there's an issue there. Where is it with him? The Jets, the same thing. But these owners don't look inside themselves. And I always say that the Browns, the first year they ever won under Jimmy Haslam is the year that he and nobody else was allowed in the building because of COVID. Only football people. Right?
Yes.
Jay, you were all over Matt Ryan to the Falcons front office. The latest rumor is that he's going to try to double dip with TV and the front office.
I don't know about that one.
No?
I don't know about that one.
You don't buy it?
I don't know about that one. I see him going to Falcons games.
Okay.
You know, you're president of football operations. I think you're going to go to football games.
Yeah.
And that one's going to move quickly here as well. And they still have to do a bunch of things. You got to interview a bunch of people that just can't interview one guy. But the way it's going to work is the president of football operations will be here. He'll answer directly to Arthur Blank, and the GM and the head coach will answer to him. Where the past was different, where everybody answered to Arthur Blank.
Yeah.
And by the way, real quick, you were asking again about the openings.
Yeah. Who's the best?
I think so. Tennessee, I love the Giants because they have quarterback, receiver, running back, really good defensive players, right?
Yeah.
And it was funny, but I was talking to a candidate the other day who was like, "Well, I don't want to go to Vegas." I said, "Why not?" He said, "I don't know. They don't have a quarterback there." I said, "Hey, dude, Mike McDonald and Josh Snyder probably didn't think they had a quarterback, right? And, they knew that they had Geno. And then after that, who was going to be our quarterback? It's worked out pretty well for them. All you want to do is go to a place where you could be a partner with the GM. Not that you're working for him, you're working with him. I think John Spytek would be great, and working with Brady would be fantastic. So I do think that could be, they could build something pretty cool over there.
Jay, how pissed is your very, very dear friend Michael Strahan about Myles Garrett breaking his record, and how quickly did he say 17-game schedule?
No, the whole year he loves Myles. So the whole year he's like, if anybody does it, I want him, right? I think he's pretty close with Myles. And he's always like, dude, this guy's a freak. He's ridiculous. And so then when we came on the other day and he was like, well, he's 16, I was 17. Clearly he was joking.
Yeah.
People didn't take it as a joke, right? And then we start piling on him like, oh, yeah, you know how those pesky records could be. They just weigh you down, And, I was joking around saying, I didn't want Myles to get it because nothing good really ever happens to Strahan. Nothing's really worked out for him.
That's all he got.
About one thing.
Jay, you mentioned Tom Brady there. All the reporting that he's going to be heavily involved in kind of forging the Raiders' future. Is that accurate in your understanding? Is he the one making the decision on who the next head coach will be?
I think him and John Spytek are going to make the decision together. And look, the head coach has to work directly every day with Spy, not with Tom. And that needs to be kind of clear. But Tom's definitely going to have an influence over there. But it's a day-to-day thing with Spytek. I mean, Tom, you can't run it from St. Bart's.
Good point, Jay.
Jay, when big news drops on Twitter, you're a big holy shnikes guy.
Yeah.
But sometimes you will say holy, the crass version of it. Is there a line where shnikes becomes the swear word?
You're asking me about language?
Well, I guess
I ain't the language police.
No.
Here's the thing. I tweet or whatever you call it the way I talk because I don't work for freaking Twitter. I don't care.
No. I'm saying, is there a big enough story where is the shnikes a lower level news story?
Oh, yes. The shnikes will be if I it's not going to be. I curse when probably usually somebody pisses me off or something like that.
Yeah.
But also, if you guys noticed, I don't really. I go more threads now than Twitter because mental health wise. Listen, I grew up on the Jersey Shore. When I got my ass kicked in the Jersey Shore, it sucked for a month. And now you're getting your ass kicked 100 times a second on Twitter. I'm not about that. So I protect myself now. So my sister-in-law actually does my social media now. So
that's smart.
Try not to look.
Hell yeah, dude.
Twitter's pretty toxic.
But by the way, she's always like, man, these people are terrible. I'm not used to this. I'm like, hey, I hear you. We're going to have to put our big boy pants on. You're going to have to deal with your mental health.
Yeah. Jay, I got one last question for you. Kevin Stefanski, I think he's a very good coach. Obviously,
He'll be a top 10.
Like I said that, winning a playoff game in Cleveland is basically a Super Bowl, and I think that's how he's kind of viewed in circles. Do you think he's going to jump right back in? Do you think he's going to get a job right away?
Yeah, I've already talked to him. He wants to coach again.
Okay.
And he's going to the Giants today.
Okay.
It's Tennessee. He has Atlanta. They're all hot on him. I think Vegas will put in for him. He is. He's going to go around. And here's the thing too, guys. And that's why I talk to GM. Like I talk to a lot of the GMs and everything. It's just about these candidates. Love a lot of these defensive candidates. But when a guy loses his job, he loses his. Sometimes he loses his, you know what, sack. I don't know if can I say that here?
Yeah, you can say ball sack.
Okay, he loses his nutsack, right? And you gotta look at like, hey, it happened to Eberflus, happened to Hackett, and you gotta see which of those guys that are like that. And from what I can see from Kevin, that's not the case. Like, and you could tell when a guy is so bitter about what happens, and he keeps talking about. I talked to Kevin, and he's like, no, if anything, I learned from over here.
Yeah.
Like, and this is what I'm just going and tell people what I learned, not my bitterness of what happened, because I'm not bitter about what happened. I said, okay, there we go. Then he hasn't lost his nutsack. So I think he's going to be a very, very attractive guy for a lot of these jobs.
Jay, a couple of quarterbacks whose futures appear a little uncertain, and Tua Tagovailoa and Kyler Murray. Do you see either of them back with their teams? Are they getting fresh starts? I think Tua said it would be dope to get a fresh start. What do you think the futures for those two are?
I don't know the answer to that. And the reason why I say that is you could have a coach that comes in, say to Arizona, and says, no, I want him. I love him. I could work with him. Like, I could do this. And convinces the owner why. But so I don't know the answer to that question yet.
All right. Well, look, we'll definitely be checking you out on Twitter, Threads, everything, Jay. Thank you for all of the stuff you do and kind of mental health advocacy and everything in that space. And thank you for joining us.
I use my crazy to help others with theirs.
Hell yeah, man. And keep kicking ass. Looking forward to following the rest of this crazy cycle. Thank you, man.
Thanks. Love you guys.
All right, there he is. Love you too.
Love Jay Glazer.
Is that what we do now?
Yeah, I love Jay Glazer. Jay Glazer's a big love you guy. I love him. He is the best.
Yes.
Absolute best.
He's like Mincy. You and Mincy.
Yeah.